Time now for Money Matters Monday, and this week we have another great question from one of you, one of our Great Day viewers. I want to introduce you to Kendall Cockrell, who asked a question that I bet a lot of people are wondering, especially if that retirement clock is ticking and they're getting close. The question is, when they say lifetime pension, is it really for a lifetime, or could it possibly run out? I bet this guy's heard that question before. This is Chris Shreves, President and CEO of Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning, here to help Kendall, and I bet thousands of others that are in that same boat. How you doing, Chris?
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Is this a question you get from time to time?
All the time, all the time.
Because it's easy to fall in love with phrases like, for a lifetime, you know, a pension that will never run out. What is the reality of these company or these union-funded pensions that are out there?
Well, the ones that we represent, the ones that we talk about all the time, I think is what she's asking about, because we always say a paycheck for life.
Yes, right.
And so I think what she's asking is, can it run out? And of course, it can't run out because it's for your life. These products that we use are a hybrid of fixed annuity. They're called fixed indexed annuities, but the insurance companies have actually put a rider onto the policy that actually gives the client the ability to choose kind of your own personal pension plan, which gives you a paycheck that you cannot outlive, even if you run out of money.
Now, say that one more time, because that's probably difficult for a lot of people to live. It's a paycheck that you will never outlive.
Correct.
Even if you sort of eat through all of your principal, all of the money that was made on that money throughout the course of the plan?
Correct. While your money is in this particular account, and it could be growing, or it can't lose money, you can only take money out. We've always talked about the fact you can't lose money. But if you're pulling money out and it's not earning as much as you're pulling out, that paycheck will still come for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live.
Wow.
Correct.
Offers you some serious protection against the ups and downs of the market. You've talked about that before, market volatility. When the market goes down, these types of investments may not make a ton of money, but they're not going to lose any money either.
Yeah, that's correct. And you know, these products, you can pick how you want to choose that pension payment at the time in which you decide to take that payment. Just kind of like when you're leaving your job.
Yeah.
You can pick, is it going to pay out to just me, or is it going to pay out for both my life and my spouse's life? I'm sorry.
Yeah, good point. Can it be passed on?
Can it be passed on? It certainly can. And here's really the nicest part about it. With a traditional pension, as you talked about earlier, when you make that choice, whether it's going to go to just you or to both you and your spouse, at the end of your lives, depending on which way you pick it, that money's gone. Okay, it's just gone. You walk away. So if you're worked for all those years, 30 years, and you got killed on the way home on retirement day, the money's gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, with our product, whatever money is left in that account gets transferred to your beneficiary. So you don't lose any of the money.
Wow. So I think the answer to Kendall's question is, if you're in the right financial product,
correct,
it does last a lifetime.
Correct.
Wow. You got to talk to an expert, though, because I didn't know any of this. Chris, thank you very much. This is what he and his circle of advisors over there at Securus do. We appreciate it. I'm sure Kendall appreciates it, too. If you've got a question for Chris or any of his circle of advisors, you can jump on our Facebook page and message us. The questions so far have been great. Let us know. We'll get them over to Chris and his team, and they'll answer them for you. If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, give them a call, 636-720-1900. Or toll free, 800-720-4252. And you can check out their website for more information too. That is securemoneyplan.com. Time now for Money Matters Monday. So we thought we would talk healthcare. Go figure. No, actually the two do go together. Please welcome to the show Chris Shreves, the President and CEO of Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning, and one of his circle of advisors, Lorna Fromm. Chris, Lorna, nice to have you both here.
Nice to be here.
It's refreshing, may I say, number one, just generally speaking, to hear healthcare more a part of the retirement planning discussion, because I think if you don't know this already, you're going to learn today, it needs to be. It's an important part of it. So I didn't realize it's April 16th, National Healthcare Day. What does that mean for all of us? What should we sit up and take note about, do you think?
April 16th is National Healthcare Decision Day. All across the country, and of course, Missouri can't be left behind. So there are certain concentrated areas in the state of Missouri: St. Louis, Springfield, Columbia, Jefferson City. And from 1 to 3 in St. Louis, there will be members of the Missouri Bar who are volunteering their time to go to nursing homes and explain healthcare decision making. And we have a wonderful forum here in Missouri. We put together a healthcare directive with the power of attorney that's free to anyone in the state of Missouri by going online.
Forms seems like it's a part of our life, but these are critically important healthcare forms that we need to be filling out. Why is that such an important thing?
Well, the reason it's so important is, as we do in estate planning, the health care is just one part of the integrated plan. You might have a trust, you might have a will, and a financial power of attorney.
Right.
But it might be to a point where you're no longer able to communicate your health care decisions. And by filling out this form now while you're healthy, what you're doing is you're explaining what you would want to have happen with end-of-life decisions. To one extreme, simply if you were unconscious and you needed to have your leg operated on.
Sure.
And doctors like these forms because you appoint an agent to serve. The doctor doesn't have to really read through the form and go through the legalese. You're saying, I appoint this person to serve as my healthcare surrogate.
I'm sure in your practice, in your day-to-day operations, you see real-life examples of why this kind of thing is important, and probably some unfortunate consequences of folks that maybe didn't take the time to fill out the forms when they should have.
Yeah, it's crazy because, you know, you have two different types of powers of attorney.
Yep.
You have one for healthcare and one for finance, but the healthcare directive is really kind of in addition to that for folks. And we want to make sure that when clients leave our office from our team that they're covered in every aspect.
And that's the whole idea, I guess, really behind the Circle of Advisors, is that under one roof you're going to be able to take care of every facet of your retirement plan.
Yeah, Lorna has been with us, I guess, what, about 6-7 years now?
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, she can tell you the difference that it makes when we work as a team as opposed to individually.
Sure. So if nothing else, April 16th is a good jumping off point or a good reminder for ourselves that we need to take this kind of thing seriously.
It's important for your family too. I think it's really helping your family. You're planning for your assets. Why not plan for your own health care as well?
Yeah, because I can tell you, I don't want to make those decisions on my parents' behalf. I would rather, while they're of sound mind and body, have them make those calls, and then the rest of us can just implement the plan.
Just keep in mind, if you don't make the decision for yourself, somebody will make it for you, and it may not be the one you want.
Let's not even think about it. Let's go see Chris and Lorna and the rest of the Circle of Advisors. Thank you, guys. Really a good conversation. You bet. If you have a question for Chris or Lorna or any of the big Circle of Advisors, you can jump on to our Facebook page, our Great Day St. Louis Facebook page. Message us, and we'll pass it along to them. We've answered some of those questions on the air. If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call them 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252 or on the web at securemoneyplan.com.
When was the last time you checked your portfolio? What is a portfolio, you ask? Well, if you've got annuities, you might even have an old annuity that you haven't looked at in years. What about that 401k? That's part of your portfolio that you're hoping it still exists, right? Well, now's the time to review, and Chris Shreves can help you. He can help you a lot. He can save you, as a matter of fact. He's the president and CEO of Securus Insurance Financial and Estate Planning. He may be able to help secure your tomorrow today. Did I say may be able to? He can secure your tomorrow today, right?
Absolutely.
And nobody's ever give him the pitch, because right off the top, the first thing about him, nobody's ever lost a dime in the stock market.
Well, we're at it 17 years now, and not one client has ever lost a dime. That is a factual statement. You know, it's a good time to probably review everything right now, because we've had what we call a second chance opportunity at this point. The market has rebounded somewhat, and so folks that lost some of the money last time towards the beginning of the year here have come back a little bit. And so, you know, if they want to make sure that they're going to retire, they need guarantees. They absolutely have to have guarantees. So we can show them a way to take their old annuities, put lifetime income benefit riders on their annuities, and the newer annuities all have those. The older ones didn't. So those are what offer you that guaranteed income. A lot of people have left jobs. They've got old 401ks that they've rolled over, or that are still at the old job. You know, those accounts are buy and hope, because Wall Street's controlling those in most cases. And so you have no guarantees that you're even going to get to retirement. It's really a problem. We get people that come into our office all the time. They put money into their retirement accounts all year long, and they get statements at the end of the year that have less money in it than they even started with.
I've done that. I've been there, and it is beyond frustrating. And one of the concerns that I would have is that because there's been a slight rebound, that people are relieved, they take a breath, it's, oh, okay, it's not the end of the world, we'll be all right, and we have to think about it for a while. Well, now's the time to think about it, like you said. And this is also a good time of year to think about it, because you've been through your taxes, you know a little bit more about your situation. We tend to get a little more educated around tax season because we've gone through all of our stuff. It really is a good time to look through it again.
It is a very good time, because you can actually put more money into annuities than you can IRAs, for example, and still get some tax benefits out of that. So, you know, you don't get taxed on the earnings that the CD is generating as it earns it. You only get taxed when you pull it out. And there's no required minimum distribution on a non-qualified annuity. That means money that you're just saving and setting aside.
Okay.
So,
would it be silly of me to say that I'm afraid there's some people out there who may not even understand exactly what an annuity is. Can you describe it to us? Because it's basically a guarantee.
It absolutely is a guarantee. Annuities got started years ago when you had a job that had a pension in it.
Mm-hmm.
When you retired, you got a paycheck.
Right.
And that paycheck was good for the rest of your life, correct?
Right.
And so sometimes you could have it also go to your wife. But when the two of you passed away, it stopped. Mm-hmm. Okay. With our products, that doesn't happen. If there's a balance left over in the account, it's going to get to your beneficiary. Mm. The government did us all a favor and put us all in control of our own products that we want to buy for retirement. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, there's a lot of unsophisticated investors out there that really don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean meanly. I just think it's realistic that that's not their job.
I will admit, I'm one of them.
And so the reality is you need help and you need guarantees, and that's what we offer. We've been doing this for 16 years. We're right at 17 now, but the fact is that you have to have guarantees in retirement. If you've got an old annuity and you're not happy with it, or you just want to make sure that it's doing the best possible job it can, come see us. If you've got an IRA or a 401k, one that you rolled over.
You want to secure it. That's why they call it Securus. We're talking about security, and that will take a whole lot of anxiety out of this process, I guarantee you. Chris, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. If you have a question for, the taxes are due today. You know that. Did you do your taxes? Are you okay?
Did, yeah, and I'm sick over it. I hate to pay taxes, but
we all do. Well, if you have a question for Chris or any of his circle of advisors, and they have some experts over there, jump on our Facebook page and message us. If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call them at 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252 or on the web at securemoneyplan.com.
It is time now for Money Matters Monday. Do you know what a fiduciary is? Should you even care? Well, the Department of Labor says you certainly should, and so does our next guest. Chris Shreves is the president and CEO of Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning. Chris, happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday.
So the Department of Labor got involved here, which means this is a pretty big deal. There was something going on that they didn't like. Tell me what a fiduciary is and what the Department of Labor is trying to change here.
Well, I've been in business 17 years, and when we deal with our clients, we always deal in a way that it's in the client's best interest. And historically, if you did not have a Series 65 license, you were not expected to have to act in the client's best interest. For example, if you were just a regular stockbroker, you could just buy and sell and trade, essentially whatever the client wanted. But as a Series 65, you were supposed to tell them that this is not in your best interest. Well, the government has now taken that a little bit further and said anybody in the financial services business at all that deals with retirement accounts has to be a fiduciary to their client, which means that you have to act in the best interest of your client. Well, I wouldn't deal with somebody if they weren't acting in my best interest.
Seems kind of straightforward, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, it is a big deal. Yeah. The fees have gotten absolutely out of hand with regards to brokerage accounts and things of that nature. And so they are trying to get those reduced for people. And really, they just want people to get to retirement and have money to retire on, which is what we have been trying to tell people for years. You need guarantees in retirement.
Yeah, instead of being led down this road saying, sure, the money will be there, and then they get there and they realize it's all been eaten up by fees.
Correct.
So is it safe to assume then that whoever we're working with is a fiduciary, does have our best interests at heart, or is there a way do we need to check? Do we need to ask those questions?
Well, this is going to be the hard part because, let's face it, as I said to begin with, you have to trust the person that you're dealing with. Most people do not really understand the financial services world, and so they put that into somebody else's hands.
Right.
So what I would do is I would, just ask them to show you their track record and how they've done for the clients that they've historically helped. As you well know, for 17 years, not one client of ours has lost one dime, and I think that really should tell you something.
So how do you think at the end of the day these changes are going to affect the average investor? Hopefully the process now is more transparent. Hopefully they know that everybody's working for their betterment?
Well, they all should be working for their betterment. Yeah. I don't really know how they're going to police it. See, this is the problem.
Right. That was my next question. It's such a gray area. A stockbroker or an investing analyst could say, well, I thought I was making the right choices, but the market, there's no guarantee of results. How do you police that?
What they're actually going to be required to do is they're going to actually show the client several different options, and the client has to make that choice. My problem with that is if the client's making the choice, then how do they really know they're getting the best result out of their choice? Yeah. Because, I mean, how do they know if they didn't pick the other one, it would have been better?
Right. You show a menu of 15 items, and it just confuses them. Well, thank you. I think now I kind of understand fiduciary responsibility and some of the changes that are being made, which I didn't know 5 minutes ago. If you've got a question for Chris or any of his circle of advisors, you can jump on our Facebook page and message us. We'll get that along to him. And if you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, give them a call, 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252, or on the website securemoneyplan.com. For our veteran friends in the audience on this Medical Monday morning, listen up. If you are a veteran or the spouse of a veteran, you may be able to qualify for a program called Aid and Attendance. Chris Shreves, the president and CEO of Securus Insurance Financial and Estate Planning, joins us this morning, along with Brian Quinn, partner with Quinn Estate Law and Elder Law, LLC. Brian, Chris, nice to have you both here this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
If there's one thing I've learned doing this show for the last 5 years or so, it's that there are a lot of veteran-related benefits out there that many don't even know exist. Or if they do know it exists, they don't know how to take advantage of it. So tell me a little bit about this aid and attendance. Who can benefit from it? What kind of benefit do you get from it?
Sure. So what the Veterans Aid and Attendance benefit is it's a monthly benefit that's paid tax-free to veterans and surviving spouses of veterans that have served during a period of war and have some medical issues that they're having some difficulty paying for. So oftentimes you'll see it in an in-home care situation, or maybe someone that is receiving some assisted living or nursing home level care. So oftentimes you'll see it with a lot of our senior clients out there.
So how does Quinn Estate Law and Elder Law LLC and Securus, how do groups like that enable people to connect to that kind of benefit if they're eligible for it?
With the VA, there's an application and qualifying process that weighs your income and also weighs what type of means you have to pay for care.
I see.
So oftentimes when our clients come into the office for the first time, you'll see that they're not quite ready, but with a little good legal planning and a good financial planning, marrying those two things together, they can really benefit a lot from our services.
Well, so, quite frankly, there's probably some veterans or family members of veterans out there that just don't have the capability necessarily or the access to all the information they need to fill out this kind of form. So it's always great to know that there's experts out there that can help.
And that's why we've teamed up with Brian and their staff, because they have the ability to focus on this a little bit. And there's not a lot of attorneys that do this specific work, and so for those people out there that are in need, all they have to do is call us, and we'll set them up with an appointment. And there's no charge to come in and talk to us to see if you qualify. Now, keep in mind, I think Brian will confirm this, you have to need the assistance before you can apply for it.
Right.
So
hence the income qualifications and that sort of thing too. But you did mention it's tax-free, right? Number one, that's huge. And number two, is it too general a question to ask? Can you give people a ballpark estimate what kind of benefit they may have coming?
Sure. So for surviving spouses, they pay a little bit less, but the top level for a surviving spouse would be $1,149 per month.
Wow.
And they pay over $2,000 per month to a married veteran. So usually the range is somewhere between about $1,100 and $2,100 per month. And because it's a tax-free benefit, it's direct deposited into the veteran or spouse's account. They can use it to pay for any kind of care that they need.
Wow. Excellent program. And anytime you're dealing with something federally funded like this, you don't want to foul up the application process.
Absolutely not.
So they both said, so leave it to the experts like Brian and Chris. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming in.
Our
we
pleasure.
Appreciate it. If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, maybe about the aid and attendance program or anything else, you can call 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. The Securus website, also very easy to navigate. How would you like to sleep at night knowing that you're never going to lose any money on any of your investments. I know what you're thinking. That's not possible. Oh, yes it is. Our next guest will explain. Chris Shreves is the president and CEO of Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning, and he is joined this morning by Mark and Deborah McDonald. Now, they know firsthand that Securus can get your finances in order. Good morning to the three of you.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great.
Now, you get to talk every week, so if you don't mind, not to be rude, I'm going to jump straight over to the McDonald's.
Help yourself.
How did you, we'll talk about exactly what it is that you do with Securus in just a little bit, but how did you become aware of Securus and the services that they provide?
I'm going to defer to Deborah because she's the one that got us connected, and so from there, she led the charge.
Deborah, the wife's usually the smart one. So
absolutely.
Yeah, explain what happened.
Well, it was the time that Mark was really beginning the retirement process. Actually, he was in retirement, and I thought we needed a plan because we'd made money through the years, been working, and we needed a plan for retirement. And it happened the timing was perfect. We received through the community college there an invitation to a training process, learning process class that was put on by Securus, and they taught us a lot about it, and we decided it was really worthwhile.
Now, Chris, I have to pick your brain for a second. How common is it? Because I'm thinking college, continuing education sort of coursework, and in walk folks that are basically on the doorstep or slightly into retirement. Is that pretty typical? And then at that moment thinking, gosh, maybe we need a plan. Is that pretty typical?
Yeah, I think most people, the problem is when they leave their job, there's really no training about what to expect when you go into retirement, and people get a little fearful. So when they find the opportunity to be able to go to a adult educational class that would teach them how to maybe manage their money at retirement and learn how to not run out, I think that's what really probably causes most people to get interested.
Mark, Deborah, do you think that was the case with you guys?
Yes, very much so. Yeah. And I will add that on and off through the last 5-6 years, I would attend. Deborah and I would attend. Sometimes I would just go. Sometimes she'd go to these various educational types of events, and it just didn't sound right. It just didn't have that feel. And I'm going to tell you, when I went, Deborah set us up for this. I went to these classes that were put on by Securus, and they truly were educational. And it opened my eyes, and I said, now I see why Deborah kept saying we need to do something with our lifetime investments. So
listen to your wives.
And that led to a meeting after the educational courses over to the Securus office, and the rest of it's golden.
Well, you look very well rested, which means
thanks.
I don't think you're laying awake at night worrying about the future of your finances. And that whole circle of advisors that Chris always talks about, I'm sure, was very beneficial for you. So
it was. After we settled that it was going to be Securus that we were going to go forward with, then I realized that we needed to look at some things from a legal standpoint and then from a tax standpoint. Deborah and I started making phone calls, but then on a second meeting that we had, it just kind of flowed at the time in terms of what they had in terms of partners and services in what they call the circle of advisors, and it was seamless. It was just one thing after the other.
That's the idea.
Yep, and it was great.
I'm glad it worked out so well for you. If you have a question, by the way, for Chris or any of that circle of advisors that we talk about, jump on our Facebook page, message us. And if you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252, or on their website, securemoneyplan.com. Thank you all very much. Welcome back. Time now for Money Matters Monday. There's a recent survey floating around from Bankrate.com that found that overall 75% of Americans have financial regrets of one type or another. 18% said not saving enough was their biggest, and then right behind that was a more specific regret, not saving enough for emergency expenses. That'll get you. Securus Vice President of Business Development, Bart Humphrey, joins us this morning. He's here to hopefully this morning make us regret-free moving forward. How are you, Bart?
Good.
We're talking a little bit before the show, and you told me there's another bit of information out from the St. Louis Federal Reserve that's kind of disheartening too.
Very troubling. Our own St. Louis Reserve has told us that 47% of American households would be in trouble if an unexpected $400 bill hit them.
$400 bill. So about half of American households, if an unexpected car repair, leaky roof like we talked about earlier in the show.
Those never happen.
No, of course not. The unexpected never happens. That's concerning. $400 puts a lot of people on the fence. And then we've got to talk about credit card debt across the country too.
Almost $16,000 per household. And as we spoke earlier, that means most households, or quite a few households, have more than that. Quite a few households don't have that much.
For every household that has zero, they're being offset by somebody with $32,000, $33,000 in credit card debt. Okay, so we know what the problem is. You're here to try to give us a solution. What is it that we can do to try to make our nights a little more restful?
Well, the good news is that more Americans are saving. Okay, that's good news. Bad news is we're not getting any interest on the savings. So it's one step forward, two steps backward.